wena ngemkhombo welanga kangwane ngani ilanga lapho mayitshe lapha kaNkosikazi ingabi sakhane saseni awuhlali phasi sabathi inkulu ithole isokho eslayela
Lo hlelo lesi from the Palace Special Edition kwathi sokuthi lo mhla sekuthulela lona libhubesi lapha eSpain eSeville lalingene khona umhlangano lo tobuka ndzabadede imali lo tobuka ukuthi ngabe emave angasidala kanjani ngokuthi ahlangabedeke kuwe ema-MDGs lokuthi inqumo letathathwa kwamhlabuhlangene ukuthuthukisa bantu emaveni lahlukahlukene kanti ke nelive lakangwane likasaleli ngaphandle ibhubesi livele latheleka lapha eSpain kokuthi lito uphefumulela wona eMaswati liphefumulele yona iAfrika yonke nemhlaba wonke uphelele jikelele kanti ke lo mhlangano ukaqali kulana uqhamuka etulu lapha eveni laseMexico la ubokhona khona ngeminyaka wa2002 kanti wendlula waya khona eQatar ngeminyaka wa2008 kanti ke eEthiopia wabanjwa lo mhlangano ngawomnyaka wa2015 kanti ke lo mhlanjena sowuvele ukhona lapha eSpain eSeville angachitha isikhathi ngekukhuluma kakhulu angivele ngikuvulele ukuthi ngikhweshele yona ingwenyama yeMaswati ngivele ngithi bayethe wena waphakathi bangangawe silo sikhulu.
Y tengo ahora el honor de invitar a Su Majestad el Rey Mswati III, jefe de Estado del Reino de Eswatini, a intervenir ante la conferencia.
Ngisholo luphondo lwengongoni kangwane esiqopholoti wena Mswati lo gabe abantu kangwane ngani bonje ngamathanga waqhakaza ke Mswati somnyama kulabaluthuli kwaba njenge kuvuma kwenqwala uyimbuku ingonyama uhle matholo ezinyathi ayethe uno phakathi.
The President of this special summit, Your Excellencies, the UN Secretary General, President of the General Assembly, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. The fourth International Conference on Financing for Development comes at a critical point in the quest for sustainable development for our countries. This conference is the test of our collective resolve to act and deliver on the promises of sustainable development. It gives us the opportunity to take stock of the progress we've made and the challenges we have encountered since the third conference. Global advancement toward the 2030 agenda is nowhere near where we thought it would be, and we have an opportunity to find workable remedies. Daunting realities of worsening climate crisis, deepened debt, and an uneven and high cost of development finance for countries that need it most have converged to create a storm that threatens the foundations of sustainable development. However, in the face of these concerns, the Kingdom of Eswatini has continued to demonstrate proactive leadership and steadfast commitment to the 2030 agenda and the sustainable development goals. Many developing nations have been affected by global challenges and impacts from unforeseen pandemics like COVID. Economies have been hard hit and appeal for much support as they have programs that they need to implement, but due to lack of resources, they cannot meet those obligations. As we look closer to this year's conference theme, Financing Our Future, which emphasizes the need to mobilize sufficient and sustainable financial resources to achieve long-term global goals, especially those outlined in the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. We appeal to the developed nations to share technology transfer, to enhance renewed strategies for sustainable financing. The need to accelerate environmental sound technologies to developing countries on favorable terms is imperative, including concessional and preferential terms. This will enhance the development of new industries such as science technology parks, mining, pharmaceuticals, agriculture, tourism, small and medium enterprises, to mention just a few. Last year at the Summit of the Future, strong emphasis was placed on the urgent need for systemic reform to the existing international financial architecture. It also called for more inclusive, transparent, and responsive initiatives to the needs of developing countries. Eswatini full aligns with this transformative change. As Africa, we have Agenda 2063 for the Africa we want. However, due to lack of resources, we are not able to meet our own obligations and aspirations as a continent. This calls for a global financial system that enables equitable access to capital, promotes sustainable development, and ensures that no nation, big, small, is left behind. The quest to ensure a fair financing system for developing countries must not be misinterpreted as a matter of charity, but as a necessity. The current structure leaves particularly climate vulnerable nations with unacceptable and unsustainable borrowing costs, raising the urgent need for reforms in credit rating agencies and more equitable allocation of special drawing rights. To move away from the fragmented development finance, Eswatini calls for innovative mechanisms such as climate bonds, blended finance, and debt for climate swaps. These instruments must be scaled up to unlock the catalytic potential of both public and private capital that will enable us to finance the SDG gap estimated to be $4.3 trillion annually. We believe it is imperative to highlight Eswatini's journey of success on moving on to a sustainable economic plan. In 2018, we established that over a period of 20 years, our GDP growth had averaged just over 2%, showing an unsustainable path due to a high stock of arrears. We decided to make a change and embark on a new course. We reduced our fiscal deficit from 7.5% in 2018 to 2%, meaning that our country was now on a fiscal sustainable track by the end of 2022. We had to aggressively increase revenue, but also reduce expenditure. And this was exceedingly difficult, but crucial necessary to undertake. From 2023, Eswatini started to see the benefits as our GDP started growing at a higher rate of 5% and is predicted to grow above 7% in this fiscal year. This was possible as the confidence from the private sector in government's ability to stabilize the economy and set it on a sustainable approach with returns on their investment had been restored. This further contributed to our growth whilst remaining within the recommended 40% debt to GDP ratio. Majesties, Excellencies, it is my ardent hope that this summit will be the turning point in our path to find the right financing models to support meaningful development for our people. The Kingdom of Eswatini stands united with the UN in advocating for a transformative outcome that addresses systemic challenges and unlocks sustainable financing. We call for concrete commitments to reform the global financial architecture, resolve debt obligation, and support private sector development to drive inclusive growth. Growing from our experiences and aspirations, Eswatini is committed to building a resilient, prosperous outlook and the realization of the multilateral system we want as envisioned in our 2030 Sustainable Goals Agenda as we find common ground in financing our future. I thank you. May Almighty God bless us all.
Doy las gracias al jefe de Estado del Reino de Eswatini. Tengo ahora el honor de invitar al excelentísimo señor Bahan Kachaturian, presidente de la República de Armenia, a intervenir ante la conferencia.
Sesifike khona maphethelwe nehlelo lakho ngethembe ukuthi ngempela inkulumo yeNgwenyama ingileyo lekhulumela iAfrika akhulumela wona eMaswati ngempela sesibhekile ukuthi mhlabuhlangene njengoba selibhodlile lona ibhubesi ende njalo ende njengoba ithembiswa tikhokhile ukuthi emavatha usitakala akwadi ukuthuthukisa impilo tebantu. Ngixoxa manje sibe kumnanzi ahle nawo kulehlelo usale kahle.
Wena beshoba lenkuzi kangwani nganilimi inyama lesabeka. Wena Mswati lo ingoni emngonga kaningane lo wavusa kwetfuka bamagagula kadhokolwa ku labate bahlala buhlala uhlalo kwaye kwetfuka bakagamane bakamnisi nangunamanjolo umangelo no phakathi layelala langakhawula itati ngizamqolo nokushumali naye nabatalo yathi liyawushona kwangitshela ukuthi kuvuka emalangeni jubala kusathalekisa ingilande esikolweni unelefa wena Mswati wase uba indlaluselwa wase uyayibamba impeniseli ngisho la kwasana ngayo mkhwase gijima Ubela kodla ngesha kwethlwandle kwatamatama livela Mswati timbi bataphuma kusakala lathi wetacela emuzini lapha emdzimba tati bona ingwenyama ehlane ehlwa umbutho wena ngemkhombo welanga kangwani ngani ilanga laphuma etsheni lapha kangosikati tingabi sathe khane safeni tagijima tawutekela bonini emakhaya inani banele baphuma bahlolwa ngetikhalate maguma makho setive ngonyana lemunya lapho setibuya imbunga umvemvakisi waselusaseni awuhlali phaswe sabathi intuli sithole emhlophe ngeuhlula emanga emadvodza Mawele usundu wekushe kwekuphephuka ematala wena ke msawa hilika hilulela ayikhane safeni wena ke Mswati ngekubusa ubuyelele wena wabhusa lisemkhoneni lisetandleni kuthuma kwakho Mswati kunyakade sewumhlaba ongane ingani kwathi kwabhoda esikwahlandle kulakamlumbi ingani kwathi mashala kansa phuma moyitela lo mashikizela kangwane nganashiye umbutho ukuhlakula inani lengwena lapha esitheni kulanqabane wayesofana emhlambi emagwalagwala wena Mswati ingani usulwa lendvodza esihlahleni kufa kondvodza kumtamo wona lo fluzu uthi kangwane emhlabeni nangengqingo njengenkomo isawusengwa wona sibaba sakuyasa kangwane ingani umdumo unjengezulu emambala Mswati yababa mhlohlo babela isingomo sakho kwakho ngoba uyasibona nangemkhondo kangwane ingani ziyandinda ngisho kuloluphondo lwengongoni kangwane esiqopholoti wona Mswati lo gabe abantu kangwane ingani bonjengamathanga wakhakaza ke Mswati zomnyama kulabaluthuli waba njengekuvuma kwenqwala uyimbubu ingonyama udle ematholo ezinyathi ayethe wona phakathi khula mlisa khula nzanzane live bakwesabe betipe bele betipha
The following program has an age restriction and is not suitable for viewing.